Action.
Hello and welcome to the Forward Podcast. I'm your host, Kari Shepherd. Have a special guest with us today, my husband of 20 years.
You kind of want to do this podcast by yourself, don't you?
What?
Do you want to take over?
Are we rolling right now?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
No, I think we gotta talk about this for a minute. I think you need a podcast by yourself.
We've been over this. It would not get done. This podcast was my idea and it's my inspiration, but I'm not about to do the work behind it.
Like,
Absolutely
Let's
not.
do a podcast. Here, you do it.
And by we, I mean you.
Oh, whatever. Everybody that listens knows when I've done two by myself, they have been the least listened to. It's like
we all have our roles.
The last one I was literally like, okay, people, are y'all tuning in just for Kari? Because maybe we should just hand it over to her.
Listen.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Our kids are just hollering like we're not recording our podcast. They're so bored with it too.
Oh, my word.
I can do one thing at a time.
Okay.
That's it. Right now, I'm doing.
No, you
I'm
juggle
working.
things very well.
I do, but like as far
all
as
in.
putting
like
the work
in.
into it.
I hope you're putting the time into our kids because it sounds like you're about to kill each other up
Nope.
there.
Haven't done that in about 5 years.
Too funny.
That's why you have a lot. So the older one,
Yeah.
wasn't that the thing when we were kids? You raised a few.
Oh my goodness. That's a conversation for another day, but that for sure started taking places. If Tara listened to this, Tara probably never listens to this podcast, but if she did, she would probably agree. Like
She raised a couple kids.
Yeah, she put in a lot of time early on.
It's interesting to note that you're a third born and I'm a second born.
Right.
And hey, Tommy, we're recording a podcast.
Sorry, everyone.
Just in case you'd like to know that. Keep hearing him.
See, Kari's raising our son. I'm raising the other four quiet ones that are up there.
Oh, yeah, right.
Okay,
Two
keep
of
going.
them are gone.
You're third.
It's interesting to note that because, like, in birth orders, typically you don't marry. I'm only saying this because I heard this on another podcast this week. But usually it's like a younger marries an oldest.
Okay.
You know, you're further apart in the birth lineup.
Oh.
And we married right next to each other. So it's just a little bit uncommon.
You're second, I'm third.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever heard that, but that would kind of make sense. I'm trying to think through some of my other
Siblings.
sisters. Yeah, who they married.
Yeah, like my brother's an oldest. He married a youngest. Jake's a youngest. He married an oldest. Yeah.
Olivia has sisters or brothers?
Olivia she only has one sister, but she's the oldest, and Jake's the youngest.
That is cool.
I just heard that in a podcast.
Very
we should probably
interesting.
also explain to our YouTube viewers why we're looking
I
like
know,
we're out of
sorry,
the
y'all.
1920s.
It is all black and white tonight, and I literally cannot figure out this camera. I haven't called my IT guy over. He's our IT guy at church, and Pastor Jose, it's too late at night, but I can't figure out the camera, so we're literally in black and white tonight, which honestly my sweatshirt looks really cool like this, so.
It's a Disney sweatshirt.
Yeah, but you can't tell that. You could kind of see
and
yours.
then I tried to match you, and now I'm looking alone.
Oh my word. Well, hey, listen, over the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about excellence over perfection. And man, it has resonated with a ton of people.
Mm-hmm.
We've heard some great feedback and actually several really long texts with different people who have really been into this subject. And I think it's because oftentimes, whether it's ministry, marriage, raising kids, which are the kind of the three topics that we really hit hard.
Yeah.
I think it resonates with everybody because everyone is pushed in society to kind of reach that perfection, and it's driving everybody nuts. And we're all comparing, and some of us were just taught this way, and so now what we kind of want to finish out more of a devotional, and actually it's not going to be a long podcast, but we'd kind of like to just walk everyone through, okay, now that we know we want to strive for excellence, but we're going to drive ourselves crazy going for perfection.
Yeah.
Now, how do we live this life? What is the balance? I know everybody thinks, oh, we have the balance, but we want to try to, best we can, just from the Shepherd family, from our heart, here is how to live and practice a grace-filled life, grace-filled living. There's two verses I want to read, and then Kara will jump in here. But the Bible says His strength is made perfect in weakness. Our strength that we have as Christians is not from ourselves. It's not self-sustaining. It's not like, well, we're trying to climb this ladder. And our strength comes from our God. And Nehemiah put it this way. He said, the joy of the Lord is your strength. And so when we begin to realize the more that we rely on God, the more He directs our steps, the more He is, you with me?
Yeah.
Don't tune out, Kari.
I'm not.
He is our strength. He is the one that's going to walk us through, and He is perfect. We don't have to be, because we can rely on Him. So living with excellence requires grace. It requires grace for yourself, for others, and for the process. And I think the biggest that maybe you can lean into, and or I can, but is grace for yourself. Living a life of excellence. We've got to back up and realize we can live it, but it's got to be done with a lot of grace.
Yeah, I think something that we wrote down that really resonated with me was stop trying to fix everything and start trusting God with the results. And I love that. I think one of the biggest spiritual journeys that I've ever been on is coming to that point where my personal devotions and walk with the Lord was not rooted and based in the 20 or 30 minutes I spent reading my Bible every morning, which sounds so opposite of what you would think. Like, what, your walk with the Lord isn't based in your Bible reading? No, I grew up thinking if I don't have my devotions today, I'm not walking with the Lord. And as I've grown in grace, and really, honestly, it's just from having babies and, that getting my schedule getting blown out of the water, but realizing that God is with me at every moment of every day. It's not like you check in with Him in the morning and, okay, I'm done. And that perfectionism of, it's my schedule. God is only going to show up if I show up for Him for that 20 or 30 minutes. That letting go of that and walking in the Spirit every moment, every single moment, whether you read your Bible that morning or not. Hopefully you did. But if you have to, read some verses before you go to bed, or listen to, the Bible on your way to work, or however you live your life, and you really taught me this, just stopping in the middle of whatever you're doing and praying about it, praying about things, just watching you live that way, and being forced really to say, okay, am I still walking with the Lord, even if my schedule doesn't match up with what my expectations are? And letting that go and saying, God, what do you want me to do today? How can I serve you today in this craziness that I find myself, walking in?
So let me pause right here. So you grew up Christian home your entire life, evangelist daughter, PK for many years. Now you've been a pastor's wife. In your spiritual journey, how long did it take you to get to where you're at right now? So if you're going to live a grace-filled life, and you're saying, okay, I went from this duty-filled life to Jesus is my all. Was that a journey? Did it happen overnight? Do you even remember? How did you get to this place where you're at now?
I remember a couple key points. I remember once after I had Tommy, and of course we didn't live near family at the time. And, you do kind of feel alone. I mean, becoming a first-time mom is just, we were going through a lot.
That's tough.
In our ministry at that time as well. And I remember a few months of feeling very alone. And that was a key point where I just, I really just learned how to pray, God, you have got to be there for us. We feel what do we do here? We're in our 20s. We just felt what, someone needs to tell us what to do.
Right.
That was a key point, but it was really 3 kids in. It was that third baby that, again, we were living far from at least my parents or your parents, and just feeling kind of the weight of middle life. And that's when I feel that's when I was okay, I have to stop relying on my own schedule that, and I really would feel like if I didn't do it a certain way, that, I'm just not, I'm not right with God. And I don't deserve God's presence in my life. And it was like, I am done with this. I mean,
Yeah.
who even wants to live like this? It's not even rewarding.
Yeah.
It wasn't fun. It wasn't rewarding. It wasn't fulfilling. It was pressure. It was painful. It was another thing I had to do. And it didn't make God anything to me, but kind of a pain.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't mean that disrespectfully, but I'm just being truthful.
Right.
And so I think that's where that statement comes in. Like it just was another thing I had to fix about myself. And I was like, well, put it on the list because, I'm not doing great at anything right now. And I honestly it just kind of came to, I was like, you know what? I'm done with all those expectations. I'm going to connect with God in the way that feels like he's with me.
Yeah.
And how that looked was just, and I've said this a million, you can listen to any podcast, but I changed the way I read my Bible. And I just let God come to me in the moment. If I was doing dishes, if I was changing a diaper, if I was, feeding a baby, whatever I was doing in that moment, if I felt like I needed to stop and pray, I did. If I felt like I needed to stop everything and grab my Bible and read, I did. If I needed to call a friend, if I needed to have a good cry, like if I needed to lay down and rest, like whatever I was doing in that moment, whatever made me feel like, God, I need your help. And whatever he impressed upon my heart, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
And that, like, oh my gosh, finding that, like that, just minute by minute, even.
Good.
Not even day to day. It was like minute by minute
Yeah.
walk was very fulfilling.
So I think what's cool is the practice of grace-filled living. You've said it is stop trying to fix everything and start trusting God with the results. And I think what adds so perfectly to that is if you're looking at in life, living a grace-filled life, just personal, which is where everyone ought to start. Not with family, not with marriage, not with ministry. It needs to start with self. I think what goes along with that, in which I've struggled with, is you have to stop comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. We have to stop living this life where we are comparing everyone else's best to our worst. And when you start living life, really truly living life, that's the moment you're really going to find joy by not living in this comparison lifestyle. And it's gotten to care harder and harder with TikTok and Instagram. And everyone learns to judge. Everybody's, even in ministry, we've come up with our own ways of judging everybody else. I remember hearing for years that church is only growing because fill in the blank. It's like, they changed their music. That's why they're growing. We've always found our ways to just compare everybody. And if we're going to live a grace-filled life, we have to fix self first. And fixing self is realizing we are made and created in the image of God. Like we're perfect. Like we're amazing humans. And when we could start living a life that's not trying to live up to this perfection and give ourselves a break, like allow ourselves to rest, allow ourselves to realize we're probably never going to be as intelligent as fill in the blank or as talented as fill in the blank, or our ministry is not going to be like fill in the blank, but we just stay in our lane and we do what God wants us to do. That's when you start living a more joy-filled life and not a life of comparison and mad and envy and wants. It's a life that's just, it enjoys life.
That's one thing I really love about the Bible is that it's really a book full of the craziest people.
They're eccentric, a lot of them, for sure.
There are some crazy people in there. And I love what you said this morning in your message. You said we have hidden the stories of the Bible. And we've kind of glossed over them, and we've made them glossy. And we've, instead of like digging in and realizing that these people were humans. They were sinful. They were normal. They fought with their flesh. They fought with their families. They fought with their own, lack of conviction. And God was able to use them even though they weren't perfect, even though they didn't have the perfect childhood, the perfect ministry, the perfect parenting style, the perfect everything. It was like God just came to where they were and said, I have a job for you.
Yeah.
And through me, you can get it done. And I love how you put that in your message. I was like, that's so true. If we really read the Bible and just like allowed it to be its gritty self, it would really give us a lot more confidence and a lot more victory, a victorious mindset of I don't have to be perfect before God can use me.
Yeah.
It is the fact that God uses me that makes my weakness perfect through his strength.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So good. So let's do this. We're talking about the practice of grace-filled living. We've talked about life. I want to do ministry,
Yeah.
so I want you to do family.
Okay.
I think you take a couple minutes here. Just talk
Okay.
about you're not living to this perfection. You want to live and strive for excellence. So how do we do this in our family? What are some pitfalls that we fall into?
I think something that might connect more with people that were raised very conservatively or strictly as we were. Sometimes in a parenting sense, we can get lost in the consistency of it. And we heard that a lot as young parents, like be consistent, be consistent, be consistent. And it's true. I mean, there's a place for that.
Sure.
But if you look at God's love for us, I mean, his judgment for us is wildly inconsistent. I mean, there are many more times I should have been judged by God than I was. His grace and mercy does not make sense. And yet as Christian parents, oftentimes we're pushed or we push one another. You know, there's no room for grace and mercy, you know, in parenting or with your kids. And I know that's how it was. I think maybe more in the last 10 years, it's been more of the gentle parenting has kind of come about. So maybe we need a balance there. But
Sure,
I just remember being a new mom, and that's, man, all these older moms just, you know, hit me hard. Like, you do the same thing every time. I'm like, well, I'm glad God doesn't do that with me, you know? So that's something to think of. Like,
that's really good.
Don't demand little baby children to be perfect. You're not perfect, certainly, and they're watching you. So they're just by default not going to be perfect.
We've talked about that oftentimes. You ought to do it. I remember one time we took a walk last year, and you were sharing with me the pressures that parents put on kids to be perfect. You smile, you have a good attitude, and this, like, you know, the opposite of gentle parenting, like just mashed down and hard. And I remember you saying, God doesn't do that with us. Smile, be good, be perfect. You really do need to prepare a lesson and give that in a podcast, because it was so good. I'd never heard it before. I'm like, man, Kara, that is so good.
Self-control is really difficult for adults, and yet adults expect it from, you know, little children. Right. And it's just not realistic. And I mean, there is discipline, and we believe, I mean, we want our kids to be tough.
Sure.
And we want them, I'm big on manners. I'm like, when you're in public, you use kindness and manners to everyone. Good. I love proper manners, even in the home, but especially in public. And so I think there's room for both, and there's a middle road there. But I think in the family, in your home, it should not be a pressure cooker. Yeah. Kids should not come home feeling pressured about grades, pressured about manners, pressured about, you know, getting along. And honestly, there's a big push in the last, you know, since I've been a parent, that kids are to be nice to everyone and to get along with everyone. And yet they're watching us adults who, we're not nice to everybody. We don't get along with everybody. Really, I mean, good grief, half the time we can't even get along with our own families, much less everyone. And yet we expect kids to go to school and never leave anyone out and always be nice to everyone. And, you know, it's just, we've put our homes
a little bit of hypocrite.
We've put our homes in such a state of pressure that kids just grow up and they're like, they walk away. They're done. They're done with anything. Even if you're listening to this and you say, I'm not even a believer, I'm not really a Christian, but you still can make your home a place where your kids walk away from your values and your moral code and your, you know, whatever, however you decided to live your life with your worldview and you think it's right. And you want your kids to follow that. Naturally, we all do. And your kids will walk away from your lifestyle and do the opposite just to spite you, because you put such expectations on them that you, number one, didn't live up to, and number two, they just weren't realistic. Yeah. So I think it's a beautiful way to demonstrate not only your love for your children, but also your love for God.
Yeah, it's good.
Is that you're willing to have grace and you're willing to have mercy and say, hey, this time I'm going to show you what God's shown me, and that is I'm giving you something you don't deserve because that's what I've received.
Yeah. Let's write down. I want to revisit that with you. Ask some good questions. I love
Mm-hmm.
that. That's grace-filled living and family, and
Yeah.
there is a balance there.
Yeah.
You've brought that out. It's awesome. I think where we ought to close out is really talking about ministry. We
Mm-hmm.
could talk for a long time, but I do want to say this. There is a balance, care, and sometimes we miss it. Either we are so performance driven that we never see the people who are there to worship. It is it's got to be perfect, and we got to come out at the right time and sing at the right time and everything, march out at the right time, and everybody on the platform needs to match. And it's just this, it's like organized chaos of like the craziness of ministry, and it's
Mm-hmm.
perfect. But then sometimes we're like, wow, we don't want to be that, so we swing the other way, and there's no preparation.
Yeah.
It's like a guy sitting on Saturday night throwing a sermon together while he's watching college football.
Yeah.
It's what songs are we going to sing today? Did anybody? Well, let's get this together. Okay, 5 minutes before, let's meet in the office and go over the service its schedule, and you could swing the other way too. And so I think grace-filled living is give your best in preparation. I mean, that's, if there's any teachers or preachers listening to this, it is planning way ahead of time, 6 months ahead of time, and it's putting sermons together in sermon series. And if you're in any kind of ministry, from nursery ministry for our ladies, make sure you give your best to the preparation, and then just surrender the outcome to God.
Yeah.
You just trust Him. Trust that He knows what He's doing.
Yeah.
But we can't get to this place where it's everything becomes just a show. The prayer is show. The music is a show. The preaching is a show. We were just talking about this right before we started the podcast of like, some sermon series that we've heard before where it's just talking points. It's not even heartfelt. It's just reading from a script. We don't want to get to that place.
No.
But we don't want to swing the other way either, where it's just there's no preparation.
Right.
There's no diligence in giving God our best. I think it's focused on faithfulness over a flawless perfection. It is concentrating on what's God's. It's giving Him our best. It's giving grace when somebody sings and messes up, or somebody messes up, you're supposed to be there early and they forgot. It's giving grace to that and realize, okay, nobody's perfect, and neither are we. It's what you were just talking about with kids. The same is true in ministry.
I have seen so many times when people have, quote unquote, made a mistake and God uses it for good. And I've seen that in my own life on multiple occasions where I'll walk in on a Sunday and I'm late, which I'm rarely ever late to actual church. But, maybe I'm late for a practice or something, and I'm just frazzled and I'm down on myself, and my internal voice is, beating myself up. And then I'll run into someone in the parking lot, and it's like, I was so hoping I would get to talk to you today. Do you have a few minutes? I'm like, yeah, I actually do. What's up? And it was just this God-ordained moment where I probably wouldn't have seen that person.
Yeah.
They needed me in that moment. And here I'm driving to church, mad at the kids and mad at myself. And God's like, no, I wanted you late because this person needed you.
Yeah.
And you know the alto part to the song you've sang 100 times. Yeah. So God can use those moments. So I think it is really important that we do our best to plan. But then when our humanity peeks through, we immediately have the mindset, God, use this. Use our humanity.
Yep.
Okay, someone tripped across the stage, or someone was late, or the pianist didn't come up. Me, I'm the pianist that forgot to go up. Something
It
like
happens.
that. And God's got it.
He does. He
guess
knows
what?
exactly what He's doing.
He knew it was going to happen already before you did. It's
and
okay.
the same is true with personalities like me. They get in, you've prepped, you prepared, you go to preach, and nothing comes out of what you had on your iPad. But then all of a sudden you hear at the end of the service, I invited a friend, they were there today. Exactly what you preached on was exactly what they needed.
Yeah.
Again, if you're a perfectionist, like, no, I'm sticking to my notes. I'm going to get through these 3 points and I'm done. At some point you've got to let God get in.
Yeah.
Let God mix things up. He knows what he's doing. He
Yeah.
knows what he's doing best.
That's it.
And so I think again, it's give your best at preparation and then surrender the outcome to
Mhm.
God. And I think this is the practice of grace-filled living. Is we didn't want to end on a note where it's just okay. Well, how do I live my life? Well, you strive for excellence, but remember, we are not perfect creatures. So
Mm.
stop beating ourselves up when we don't attain that height for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. His strength is made perfect in our weakness. That's my
good.
favorite. I
That's
love
good. Any closing thoughts?
it. No. I left it all on
Yeah,
the
we
board.
did it. It's all out there. Well, hey, coming to you live from black and white video this week. It's kind
That
of
was
crazy.
cool. Yeah.
And do you notice we switched places?
What is with this day?
This is weird, right? I was
This is
just looking,
so
I was
weird.
like, why am I
Why
not?
did we switch places?
I've never been over here.
It's like it's Halloween week.
Dun, dun,
Twilight
dun.
Zone.
Ooh, dorks. All right. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in this week. Hope this has been a help and a blessing. Make sure you share this on whatever social media you're on.
Have a great week.